Hi guys, we're flipping the script here. No sponsorship, just a single request. It's you who powers our mission. Join us in empowering founders, business leaders and entrepreneurs to build great businesses, increase their income and provide sufficiently for their families to make a difference in this world. A single ask I have of you is to please review and share this podcast. 1 minute of your time could make a difference in a fellow entrepreneur's life, so please review this podcast today. It'll make a world of difference to you, to me and our community. Hey Contractors Chronicles community, what's up? It's Themi Sturgeonis here today again, and it's your weekly delivering of pains and gains of growing this business that we spending so much time unpacking in the podcast, the Labor Companies. So it was originally designed, this podcast is originally designed so that I can document my journey and hopefully I resonate with other entrepreneurs out there who are in a similar position of making boring businesses cash flow without losing our souls. So in the previous podcast, we spoke about what we're focusing on this year. And remember, the business has been, we actually started this business as a startup, the Lab of Companies, and Waterproof Lab was a specialized waterproofing system that we introduced to the market. And that started from our garage. It wasn't easy. We went through a lot of pain. We now have our own premises. We've quadrupled our team and our turnover is growing regularly. And, you know, honestly, I think when we first started the business, we probably made more profit. But now as we're growing the business and we're living up to the vision, which I'd like to discuss with you a little bit later, we've just found that extra little push in the right direction about our vision has pushed our business to the next dimension, and to the next level, because our team, they have new vision for the company, they have new chutzpah for the company, they understand where they're going, and I call it the vivid vision, but I'll get into that a bit later. But we discussed this year's focus, because the business is growing so rapidly, that we want to focus on making sure that we spend more time focusing on the needs of our people, so our team, and then we want to focus on putting systems in place, more systems, because if we don't have systems, the business is going to fall apart. And then we also wanted to focus more on the numbers, making sure that there's a CEO dashboard for me. And these are all the things I speak about in my training program called Reignite Your Business, Reignite Your Life. For those who are interested in that, let me know and I can send you to the right link, and we can uncover that in your own time a little bit more. But essentially last week we spoke about developing systems for the business and doing the job descriptions and the KPIs. So how do we go about that? Just to summarize again, we did the organogram, not where the business is now, but where the business wants to be in a couple of years' time. So what does that look like? And then we just put the right people in the different roles. So some of those roles are doubled. In other words, my finance manager might do financial management and she might do the HR management. And I'm overseeing the different areas as well. The operations will be head of operations and sales. There'll be a technical department, etc. So, and there's a marketing division which we outsource. So, but I'm still in charge of the marketing and sales. And it's very important to sketch that diagram out, because it gave me a better understanding of where my business is and where it needs to go, and which jobs and roles I need to create. So one of the good things that came out of this exercise that we did last week was I did a normal job description for each and every person. I did it with my finance manager. We basically just listed all the tasks that each and every person does, their roles, and then I proceeded to put some KPIs in there as well. And the KPIs are like, what are the areas that you need to focus on in the business? Out of all the tasks that you got, these are the ones that you're going to be measured on. And it was an interesting outcome, because traditionally with my other businesses, I've always done the job descriptions myself, and this time I really decided to enroll someone and get someone in to come and help me, and I did it all wrong basically. So the whole thing about job descriptions and KPIs being on the same document is not necessarily the way to go, because each role has specific tasks and competencies that we need to take the business to the next level. So people need to be clear on that, and those are the tasks and competencies The KPIs is almost like a separate document that is contractual, and it's between myself and that individual or that manager or that staff member, about, like, can you reach these? Are these within your target? This is what we expect from you. Let us know what you need in order to attain this so that we can get you up and running, and over what time frame. And then we agree and we sign it off. And that made so much sense to me, because once we are clear on our KPIs, I think that this business is going to have even more clarity. And I always explain it to my team, like, imagine a big arrow with two lines going across, and in the arrow, there's little arrows, and they're all pointing in different directions. And if they're pointing in different directions, there's just no synergy, there's no momentum. And we want to get all those little arrows pointing in the direction of that big arrow. So that's the process that we're busy with at the moment. Once again, just documenting this journey. I'm really hoping that I resonate with someone else out there that is in a similar position. It's really working for us. If you want to reach out and just you ask any questions around how to go about that, I'm happy to share what works and what doesn't work, especially for our business, and just shortcut your journey. So that was interesting. Another interesting development that happened last week was we realized in doing our financial management, remember we wanted to focus on our numbers as well. So our team, which is the job descriptions and the KPIs, the organogram, that's a separate issue. But then also the numbers, I need to develop a dashboard. So I've decided this year to reach out to a CFO who's a CFO coach, and she coaches us on a weekly basis on a Tuesday morning from about 10 to 12:30. She coaches my FM and myself, just to upgrade the skills, and we can ask any questions and pass on any knowledge. And she's added tremendous knowledge there. So one thing that we covered in the last couple of sessions was we uncovered a risk register, like what are the risks? And I've got a very easy way of doing it without having to go that formal route. And I learned it from a gentleman called Keith Cunningham in the 4-day MBA when I went to Texas. It was great. And he calls it time to think. But I'm going to expand on the time to think module, or time to think strategy, a bit later, because I think it's important that we dig deeper on that. But essentially, the risk register is things that we're not seeing, things that we might get complacent doing as we grow our business that might prop up. So that register goes into a Dropbox folder. My FM and myself, we know about it. And we add things to there the whole time, and we're consistently rating those risks on a probability of outcome, and benchmarking it to where we want to go. So we keep on reflecting on those risks. So we try and see if we can eliminate that risk completely. And it's never like that. And I mean, when growing all my businesses, I've never had a risk register. I think us entrepreneurs, we just put our head down and we go, and that's can be a challenge sometimes, because you need time to sit down and really look at those pitfalls. So what came out of that whole session was, for me, that was a big disappointment, was I was really looking forward to my end of my February 2024 numbers to look like very good. We've basically tripled our turnover on 2 years ago, and it's looking very positive. And I was disappointed to see that the bottom line, because turnover can be vanity, but profit is sanity at the end of the day, and it showed a very uncomfortable number that I wasn't expecting it. So when your picture gets blown, myself and my FM, we just looked at each other and we were so disappointed, because we've put so much in to growing the business, to getting the business accurate. So incidentally, one of my FM's KPIs is going to be accuracy of the data, and making sure that I have updated numbers so that I can run my business, a dashboard. So going back and really going back into my numbers again, having a look and seeing what happened. I went back that night very upset, and I just looked at those numbers and I unpacked them a bit more, and I realized that the stock figure was incorrect. And because I'm the only one that has the immense experience in this business, I immediately saw there was a big variant, and I brought it up and I tabled it in front of my accountant and my FM. The very next day I said, guys, I couldn't wait to share it with them. I said, guys, look, this stock count is totally incorrect. And stock count affects your cost of sales, or your gross profit levels or percentage. So if your stock is incorrect, it's going to decrease or increase your gross profit percentage. And we realized that in our favor, our stock count was actually incorrect. And initially it's, we just looked and we said, why are they counting incorrectly? What is going on here? And we should dish out written warnings and make sure that they never do it again. And I just remembered, I said, guys, hold on, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's look at this differently. Let's look at the system. Let's fix the system and not the person. The system has an error. It's not clear. There aren't clear instructions on how to count the stock, and we don't have a second person counting the stock so that we can see how, if there's a variance, and then we can identify and fix that variance. And we weren't doing that. So immediately I jumped in. I said, guys, we need a system. We wrote out a system for how we're going about stock control. We changed 1 or 2 people with more attention to detail. We've got 2 people counting our stock control now. And we've got direct reporting of who that count needs to go to, and a double check system after that again, so that we can get those accurate numbers. So I was very pleased with that outcome. So that was a positive. And again, just reflecting on the journey of an entrepreneur, it's like a seesaw. 1 minute you're down, and other minute you're up. And I just had to remind myself again that is the journey of growing a business. And I've got to take responsibility as an owner at the end of the day. I can't just go firing people or giving people warnings because my systems aren't correct. So, guys, what are we not seeing? Okay, the stock system's not correct. Let's go and fix it. Let's train them and let's see. So I'm very pleased to say that it's working well. Our stock number came through very nicely, and our bottom line's looking much better than we thought it would. Lots of room for improvement, and next year is going to be a great year, but we're very excited. So, guys, what brings me to today's session as well is that the headline of this podcast is taking time away as an entrepreneur. Taking time away, is it beneficial? And I do think it is. I've come down to our river cottage, which is probably about 3 hours drive from Cape Town, a beautiful city in South Africa. And we've got the boat ready. We've just launched the boat now. My son and myself, we're going to be spending some time. He's going to be going on the boat soon. So I just feel like, we both felt like that we need to spend some time together. So we're going to go throw a line at it and see if we can catch some fish and just spend some quality time together as fathers and sons should. And what I did realize was that spending time like this on my own is like, I kept on having that guilty feeling by breaking away. That most entrepreneurs, they get guilty, I think. Hit me down in the comments if that's you. Going away and letting your team know that you're going away. Like I do it like quietly, like slip away. No, I don't. I let my team know. Guys, I'm going to break away. That's where the best ideas get born. And I'd like to spend the next podcast just talking a little bit more about how my vision was born here at this river cottage where we're at. Because I had some spare time to really think about where my future, and I'm going to be sharing with you some interesting data about how to draw up a vision for your company, how to look at the time span. Is it a 2 years? Is it a 3 years? Is it a 5-year time span? How to go about dreaming a little bit so that you can develop a big vision, like I call it a big area audacious goal for your company. Because ever since we did that, the business changed. So I'll be spending some time on that podcast next week. If you want to, please hit the like button. We're doing this for our community. We've got nothing, we're not making anything out of this podcast. We just want to make sure that entrepreneurs around the world are resonating with the areas. Because I know I've coached entrepreneurs for almost 15 years, and I know that running a business is a hell of a lonely journey. And we're growing this community for you, and I'm just looking forward for more of a community to build up, the Contractors Chronicles community. So hit the like button. Please share this with like-minded individuals. Guys, I'm not producing the best media at the moment, and I'm okay with that because I have a philosophy of crawl, walk, run. You'll see the podcast will just get better over time, and I don't want that to stop the word getting out there. I don't want to let that stop us helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses. So guys, have a fantastic week. Next week, the same time, we're doing another podcast, and I look forward to having you hit the like button and join our community. Guys, thank you. See you next week.